Guys, welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete channel. I am Dr. Paul Rimmer, and on today's question of the week, we have this question which came from a weight management group that I'm a part of, and some people are interested in performance, ultra running, marathon running, and the question was, should I hire a coach for my first marathon or ultra marathon, and if so, what things should I kind of look for? So before I jump all over this and use my own biases to say, yes, you should absolutely, definitely hire a coach, seeing as I am a coach, I want to just talk through a few things about the concepts of coaching first so that people really understand what a coach does. So there's three main components to writing a program as I see it. So one is understanding the science behind what goes into a training program. So yes, you can find generic templates and programs that are out there that for marathon, ultra marathon, whatever they might be. But how do we know those programs are reliable and valid without, I guess, yourself going off and doing loads of research and trying to figure out things for yourself? So the way to think about a coach is it's like having a roadmap towards your goals and your success and giving you the confidence that if you need to make any diversions along the way, that you have the right support there to make those right diversions and adjust the program for you. So you don't need a coach in order to get to running a marathon or to running an ultra marathon. But what I would say is it's going to potentially take away a hell of a lot of time, energy, effort, confusion, and reduce the risk for things going wrong. So typically people think that coaching is about making sure things go right. Actually, a lot of what coaching is for many sports, and particularly where there's the potential for things to go wrong, is to start with actually trying to make the athletes healthy and be able to stick to and get through a training program that doesn't cause them to be injured. So that first component of coaching is understanding not just the science of how to write a training program, but it's also understanding the science of load progression, volume progression. But the second thing that a coach needs to do, or coaching should involve, or you should look for if you're looking to work with a coach, is understanding who you are as an athlete, where you are on your athlete journey, your lifestyle, family commitments, work commitments, because that is going to have a massive, massive, massive impact on the program that we design as a coach to begin with, but also how we need to adapt that program with time, So we need to be realistic in terms of setting goals, in terms of not just completing a marathon or completing an ultra marathon, but that might then influence, okay, when we pick the date of thing we've signed up for, it's okay saying to yourself, you're going to pick up a 12-week marathon program or ultra running program. But what happens if you're on holiday for a few weeks? What happens if you get sick for a few weeks in the middle? A coach should be able to, obviously you can't program for illness and injuries as such, although good programming should at least prevent some of the injury components. But we can't just simply stick a random 12-week program guide that we found on the internet and expect that to work. So the second thing a coach should do is work with you and not just give you generic templates and programs. Now, through my membership area, I do provide some generic templates and programs, but the thing is that I do differently through my coaching, which is my membership option rather than my personal coaching, is that each week we have live sessions to go through, discuss things that have gone well and things that haven't gone so well, so that you've got this template and framework to work from. All coaches should have that. They should have an idea of how a training program should look. But we should also be adaptable within that as well, and that's where having those kind of contact points is important. So a coach should be available to you. That's one thing to look out for. They should be available to you. They should understand you as an individual, and being able to also understand that yes, they want to keep you accountable, and that's another key role of a coach, is to keep you accountable, but they've got to do that in a way which is reasonable within the time constraints of what you've got. I've seen this time and time and time again of amateur, age grouper athletes or people who are just okay runners but looking to go to the next level, hire elite level performance coaches, and those elite level performance coaches have got no consideration for anything other than this is how they train their elite athletes. Unfortunately, one of the key determinants in maximizing your performance is always going to be your availability to train and your availability to recover, as well as the genetic components as well. I'm talking about your individual capacity to maximize your genetic potential, if you want to call it that, your performance potential. I've seen this time and time again that elite coaches, they are only elite coaches. Okay, they don't have this capacity to take a step outside. I've worked with several athletes that have come to me with chronic fatigue syndrome, overtraining syndrome, which has then meant that there's been periods of times where there's been a recovery period of time before we could even start contemplating implementing an actual useful training program for that athlete. So that's the second thing that they should provide is understanding who you are as an individual in a detailed consultation to say, okay, how can a program adapt to you as an individual? Now, of course, do you need a coach to do that? No, you don't need a coach to know when you feel tired. You don't need a coach to understand where your lifestyle commitments are, but you might need a coach for accountability, and you might need a coach where if things go wrong, or they don't go necessarily wrong, but they don't go ideally to plan, like what do we do if we have to have a break in things? How do we factor those things in? How much should we reduce the run? Which point of the program should we go back to? We've changed jobs, we've gone through a tough time in a relationship. How do we handle those things? And then the third thing that a coach, I think, should really offer is this idea, and I've kind of alluded to this before, but it's the support and accountability, not just physical support of here's your program, this is how it's adjusted, but they should be someone that you have a good connection with, that you trust to go to with any problems you have, whether that's a physical problem, injury, illness, feeling frustrated with not making progress in the program. There should be enough contact points there for that to take place. I think a lot of people necessarily have come to coaching programs of mine in the past and thought that's really expensive. Well, I can just download this training program for $5.99 off the internet. And that's fine if you want to do that. But is that training program going to make sure you're okay if you're having a tough time? If work gets hard? Is that person going to have the knowledge and experience of applying training programs to a diverse population base or client base so that when you struggle, they've got some solutions to those problems? And I think that's an important thing. Like, just because someone's a top level coach doesn't mean they're the right coach for you. And just because someone's a low level coach or hasn't worked with elite level athletes doesn't mean that they're the wrong fit for you as a coach. So I would always say, before you hire a coach, speak to them, book a consultation, stalk them on social media, see what they're about. A good analogy for hiring a coach is kind of like building a house. You could learn everything you need to build a house, right? You could go and go to building school, you could learn all the trades, you could learn all of that stuff, and then you could use a bit of trial and error to figure out the right way to do things with the knowledge that you've gathered, and eventually you build a house. But it might take you 10 times as long. It might be way over budget. Trust me, as someone who built this clinic and had to do a lot off his own back, if I could have gone over again, I would have definitely hired certain trades to get things done much quicker and easier, because my perspective was, oh, that will be okay, I can sort that myself. So what you're actually paying for in a coach isn't a training program, okay? I think that's the misconception. Or I can just download this offline, just go out for a run, just do this, just do that. You're paying for a coach to give you peace of mind and confidence that things aren't going to go wrong, but if they do go wrong, that they have the capacity to fix them. And if you don't want to do that and you think coaching is expensive, then there are many programs out there, there's many apps out there, but I would always say that try and combine that with some personal contact point, which is exactly why the membership platform that I've built, that I'm releasing soon, has that point of contact. So you have the generic programs and templates that you can pick for your goals, but there is also then the opportunity to have conversations with me, other coaches, other members of the coaching team, to really get that support and that connect so that you have confidence that you're doing the right thing. So watch out for those things, guys. Don't just think you need a coach. Go out, try different programs. A generic template program might work for you to a certain point, but we're only as strong as our weakest link. But then if you are going to hire a coach, like I've said, do your research, look at them on social media. What experience do they have? Is that experience even relevant to you? Like, I'm not a good marathon runner, I am not a good ultra runner, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily a bad coach. It doesn't mean I'm not capable of doing those things myself. That's my biases talking. So I think with anything in life, we shouldn't feel guilty about needing extra help. And yes, extra help might cost, so we have to budget ourselves, and we have to find a way that if we need or want coaching, to pay for that, and that costs money, right? And that's a big barrier for a lot of people, particularly at the moment. I understand that. But the reality is that if we're paying for something and that's giving us a shortcut to where we're going, it's always just this time cost benefit type thing. And that's the same with any trade and anything you do. You don't hunt your own food or gather your own food. You go to a supermarket, so you don't have to do that. And you facilitate that by, working. Now, I know food and things are essential, right? And I'm not suggesting running coaching is essential. However, if it's something that's important to you, it's a priority, then if you're not willing to do all the education, do all the research, figure out all the conflicting stuff, collect lots of data on yourself, and you want someone else to take control of that for you, then that's what coaching's for. So, do you need a coach? The answer is, no, you don't definitely need a coach, but is a coach likely to make life easier for you, to give you more confidence, and to be able to help you over those lumps and bumps and hurdles that are going to happen along the way, because they will, then yes. And I think that learning through doing is something I really enjoy, so I only have very specific coaches, like technical coaches, or I might dip in and out of consultations with certain people that are important to me, but that's only on the basis that I've got a foundation of knowledge within this area. But if I was looking to, to build my YouTube channel, well, guess what I do? I speak to other people who've grown YouTube channels, and I look at other experiences, and then I look through other recommendations and everything else as well. But then how do I filter that knowledge? How do I filter that information to know the advice that I'm looking at on YouTube about YouTube is the right advice? So please be aware of that. That's what a good coach can do. Look for testimonials, but don't necessarily focus entirely on them. Speak to them, chat to them, ask through their methods, reach out to them in an email, see how quickly they get back in touch with you. Chat to them and see how you get on with them. Yeah, they might not be the most elite level coach in the world, but if you feel you can have a good relationship with that person and good dialogue, that's really where the winning is done. Right, you wonderful humans. If that video's been useful, please give me a like and a little subscribe if you could. And my next video, I think I'm going to come back and I'm going to look at, what am I going to look at? I'm going to do some sciencey stuff next. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It's really appreciated. And yeah, any questions or anything, please post them below. Please post them below. Anything you want answering next week, use the comment section to add those questions in, and I will answer those questions for you. Have a great rest of your day, you wonderful humans. Peace.